Hey y'all, thanks for stopping by Izzy's Garden Hub. Hey, Roll King, if you want to sponsor my channel, that'd be cool. Alright, let's jump right into this. Today we're going to talk about building a super soil. We're going to try to keep this short, informative, and most importantly, budget friendly. So let's start with our medium. Now our medium, it doesn't hold any nutrients, so we need to amend the soil. I like to use ProMix. ProMix comes with a perlite, and it also comes with a mycorrhizal that is most important for the soil. Let's get into each individual product here. So when we get our medium, we don't have any nutrients, so we need to amend the soil. We're going to amend the soil with an organic, slow-release granular product. I like to use the Down to Earth product here. The Down to Earth has fish meal, blood meal, rock phosphate, feather meal, seaweed meal, lots of great slow release minerals that's going to feed the plant through the duration of your grow. Okay, since we're talking about the duration, now when the plant, whether you're dealing with a cannabis plant or a pepper plant or a tomato plant, is very, very similar. The pHs are all roughly the same. The nutrient intake that they're asking for is roughly the same. It's the timing of when we're given each of these nutrients. So during the veg stage, we want to have lots of nitrogen. Now, the nitrogen is going to cause all your vigorous top growth. It's going to cause basically the structure of the plant. That's the, the veg state and building all the different branches that our fruit's going to hang off of. Now, going into our flowering stage, nitrogen is a no-no. The reason it's a no-no, it's something in the gardening world that a lot of you probably aren't familiar with, is a term called bloom drop. Now, I've never heard really anyone in the cannabis industry talk about it, but it's there. And what happens if you're adding too much nitrogen later in your grow, transition into your flowering and your bud stage, it's going to cause the bloom drop. And what that does is basically it causes the plant to fight against itself. If you have a plant that's trying to say, hey, let's transition over into the fruit, and you're feeding in all this nitrogen, and it's wanting to cause all this vigorous top growth still, and that's going to affect your final harvest, your yield, your fruits, your flowers. So you want to use nitrogen towards the beginning of the plant's life, throughout the veg state, and once you transition into fruit, bloom, flowering stage, you want to leave the nitrogen out. Okay, next product we got here is compost biochar. Compost biochar, it has actually a compost in it, so therefore we're adding even more microorganisms to the soil. And that's how living soil works, is if you've got billions of microorganisms in here, they're the guys that are eating all these minerals. They're eating the phosphorus, the potassium, and the potash. They're absorbing all those nutrients and exchanging that with the plant. So we want to use lots of, diverse microorganisms. And biochar is also really coarse, so it kind of acts as a perlite. It really sets up a really good, healthy habitat for your microorganisms. It also is a little alkaline, and what that does is help regulate your pH. So super important. All right, let's talk about mycorrhizae. Now, mycorrhizae is definitely another product you don't want to sleep on. It's most important. It's a fungus that attached to the feeder roots. It extends all the roots of your plants. And if you can extend the roots, your roots are going to absorb more of the nutrients, and therefore you're going to put that energy towards your fruiting, flowering stage of the plant. what else does mycorrhizae do? I know there's something else that I'm leaving out. So how it works is the mycorrhizal will extend and help absorb all the minerals in exchange for sugars. The plant will give the fungus a sugar. So therefore, it's kind of like a symbolic dance that they're having down in the soil. It's pretty simple. This is kind of basically, water your plants every couple of days. Set it and forget it. One-stop shop right here. Perlite. Perlite is super important because we don't want to have really kind of dense soil. We want nice and airy soil. I use a really coarse, and I have kind of a fine perlite. Now what we want to do is we want to keep that soil nice and airy so we get proper drainage. Okay, so now that we've got proper drainage, we've got our nutrients off to a good kick start, let's introduce some more microorganisms, and with that we're going to use worm castings. Worm castings. Mr. Wiggly right here, what is he saying? He says, just a handful will make your plants happy. That's straight from the worm's mouth himself. Definitely want to use worm castings in your super soil. It's going to add all those microorganisms into the soil and just build up billions of microorganisms so those guys can eat all those minerals in exchange with the plant. Okay, so I think we've covered the basis of building a super soil. This isn't rocket science, but there is a few key things that you want to do and a few key things that you don't want to do. Now I'm going to transition this camera over into talking about ratios and maybe some mathematical equations so you can make sure you're getting the proper amendments, the proper amount mixed in with your medium. You don't want to guess at this. Growing vegetables, growing cannabis, it's not hard, but you got to just stick to a formula that works and give your plants some love and keep proper measurements.